Welcome back to the Athletics franchise here for another edition of Prospect Profile, a mini-series we do here within the Athletics franchise where we go over top prospects from AA Midland up to AAA Nashville. Last time we went over Mark West, AAA outfielder, and this time we're going to be staying here in Nashville to go over AAA shortstop Richie Martin. Little bit of bio on Richie Martin. He is a shortstop, like I mentioned. He bats and throws righty. He stands 6 feet tall, weighs a $185. He is 24 years old, and he was the 20th overall pick in the 2015 MLB draft out of the University of Florida, as he was a Gator. As far as Martin's scouting profile goes, according to MLB.com, he was arguably the top defensive shortstop in the 2015 draft class, so he does have great defensive potential, and that is definitely reflected by his attributes, as he definitely has gold glove potential, I would say, if he gets out to the big leagues. Right now, he's kind of in a situation where the Athletics have a bunch of different guys who can play shortstop, and the majority of them are better options. Like right now, Pedroza is currently listed as a second baseman, but he plays shortstop. Fernandez could be moved over to shortstop to play there if I really wanted to him, and then they have a bunch of guys who can play second. And then at shortstop, there's guys who are like right on the fringe. There's a bunch of them, like Richie Martin, like we're going over now, Franklin Barreto, Jackie Allen's a bench player, Mikey White is a guy who could get a chance here and there, Johan Camargo. All these guys are guys who could get shots at shortstop, but there's just so many of them on this team. The best of the bunch probably being, the best of that fringe bunch probably being Richie Martin and Franklin Barreto. As far as his offensive skills go, he definitely is a good spray contact hitter. He likes to use all sides of the field. He's not just going to be a guy who pulls the ball, he's going to be able to slap it the other way for singles, slap it the other way for doubles. He's going to be able to pull it, he's going to be able to use all the fields when he wants to, but he doesn't have really any power. He's just going to be a straight contact guy. And he's not even really that good of a contact hitter because his vision and his discipline are both just meh. They're not really that impressive. He's not going to be walking a whole bunch because his discipline is really not that high. His vision is not that high, and guys who just have low vision and low discipline, in my opinion, aren't really that good of players because it really doesn't even matter what their contact is, because if they don't have the vision to actually see the pitch and be able to have a good read on what is coming, because the vision affects your hit circle, like your hot zone, whatever it's called. The hit circle, like in zone hitting, it's the big circle that you move around, and directional, it's the circle that's in the middle of the strike zone. So the bigger that is, the better you have a chance of hitting, and Richie Martin just doesn't have a very good vision. So generally, guys who don't have good vision, I'm not exactly the biggest fans of. But Richie Martin is an interesting guy to mention because he's been in our system since the start of this series, and he's just kind of gotten buried behind a bunch of other better guys, and he's just now still just a fringe player like he's been since this series started. He's obviously the best to where he is. He's probably way more MLB ready right now than he was in the start of the series. But he's just, like I said, he's just buried behind a bunch of other guys. He has been up with September call-ups for, I think, 2 or 3 seasons. I think 2 seasons now, maybe 3 seasons. But he's definitely been up to the September call-ups a couple times, and he's going to be up again this season. But he's just not really getting any playing time or being able to start or anything like that because he's a fringe player, like I was saying. He's just a AA or AAA shortstop who just doesn't really have any room to get on the roster right now because there's just guys who perform better than him. But hope maybe they could use him as a trade piece. Maybe they could use him as somebody gets hurt and he could take his place. They don't really know what they want to do with him right now, but he is definitely a guy they have, and they have options to do with him because he is still a pretty decent prospect at a 74 overall B potential. Now moving on to Martin's attributes, he is a 59 contact versus righties, a 65 versus lefties, 30 power versus righties, 43 versus lefties. Like I said, doesn't really have any power. His vision discipline, like I said, are just very meh. 51 vision discipline and clutch, 55 bunting, 46 drag bunt, 85 durability, so he's very durable, 76 fielding, 67 arm strength, 57 accuracy, and 70 reaction. Like I said, definitely some gold glove potential there, and he has 62 speed, so his speed, nothing really special about it, but it's definitely not awful either. He's going to be able to get around to the base paths, but he's not going to be able to swipe the amount of bags that Dyson was when he was doing really well with us, or the amount of bags that Andino swiped this season. And with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this prospect profile of the 74 overall B potential shortstop Richie Martin out of the University of Florida. Ignore where it says he's from Missouri because that's not right. I have to go back and fix that. So, I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I'm saying goodbye.